Hey, welcome to the Castle Chasers podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Misty, and we're Castle Chasers.
Yeah.
We talk about all things Disney, planning Disney events.
Well, you talk about planning Disney, and I just talk about all the cool stuff.
Yeah. We started this because I think when I was planning Disney, we quickly realized it's not all just like ears and walking down Main Street and Mickey waffles.
It is for me.
Yeah, it's there. But it doesn't have to be that cheesiness.
Yeah, very true. There's cool stuff about Disney.
There's a lot of cool stuff. So we wanted to share that.
Yeah. Not that stuff's not cool. It's just more like it doesn't have to be as cheesy, like you said.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like people they overdo it. And then they leave out some of the cool stuff.
I know, yeah. So we'll get to some of that cool stuff. We'll also talk about, kind of our interaction and our connection with Disney. We'll get into our first time at Disney World. And, we'll also circle back, where it all started, which is kind of what we need to get out of the way first. So basically, to kind of introduce ourselves into this whole thing, how was your childhood with Disney? Like, where did the roots come from? Was it a lot? Was it a little bit of Disney? What was going on there?
I don't think my Disney childhood wasn't your typical Disney childhood. Like, whenever I think of a Disney kid, I'm thinking they grew up at Disney World and they were there all the time and they just, like, eat, sleep, breathe Disney, and that's not what mine ever was. I didn't grow up wanting to be a cast member. I didn't even know what a cast member was until like a year ago.
I mean, you definitely talked to me about it like you knew for a while. Just saying.
But when you think about it and you think about, Disney, it was always there in my childhood. So, Disney princesses, I didn't think of, I love Disney princesses. I love princesses. But when you think about it, what princesses do you know? You know Cinderella, Aurora, Snow White, Belle.
By the way, I didn't know who Aurora was.
Oh my gosh.
Even at Disney.
Yeah. We were at Cinderella's royal table and Aurora comes around and she leaves and he's like, "Who's that one?" I was like, "That's Aurora." Who's Aurora?
I'm like, "Who's Aurora?"
I'm like, "Sleeping Beauty." She has a name?
She has a name? I had no idea. And so that was kind of my childhood with Disney as well. I wasn't engulfed in it, but I knew a lot less than most people.
I will say, to give you some credit, she was only on screen 18 minutes of the entire movie. So
when you break it down that way, come on now.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, as much as I wasn't a Disney fanatic as a child, I was. Like, I didn't even know. I thought my last name was Cinderella for my entire childhood.
I remember you telling me this.
As a child growing up, and then in kindergarten was about the time that, I went to my first day at kindergarten and they said, "Your last name's not Cinderella." I just conveniently have the only last name that rhymes with Cinderella. I don't know how I managed that. My last name's Gianarella, so
you had to have been heartbroken.
Oh, I don't. Your first day at kindergarten, finding out you're not a Disney princess.
Well, also your last name is Gianarella right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna change that. We're gonna talk about that here in a little bit. Like, for real, we'll dive into that, because I put a ring on. You're not even wearing it, are you?
I'm not.
Wow.
I'm sorry, my fingers swell.
Guys,
it's summer.
she's available. You'd be a lucky fella to land that right there.
Land yourself a Disney princess.
Mm-hmm. You need to. No, to go back to childhood and stuff, I mean, kind of like you, it wasn't your all. It wasn't everything. You didn't want to be a cast member whenever you grew up and everything. But my childhood was just a bunch of trinkets and stuff. And because you reminded me earlier, my mom with the Mickey phone, which I was obsessed with when I was a little kid. Like, it's the coolest Mickey phone. He's obsessed with it now. I'm still obsessed with it. It's just Mickey. And so that we'll talk about that. But that was my childhood. It wasn't like everything. Like, my mom would sing Bare Necessities in the kitchen and she would call us Blueberry Critter. And so there was a lot of references that she would use, but it wasn't ever pointed out that it was a Disney thing. And so my childhood comprised of like all of this hidden stuff that was very much Disney like that. And so beyond that, it was the giveaway stuff. It was all the McDonald's cups.
Oh my gosh!
You remember the McDonald's cup? Yeah, the plastic plates. The cups were always so much better than the plates, but the plates were still
cool. Like the cups were amazing. We collected all of them. I remember like needing to be the first ones on release.
Yeah.
The only one I remember off the top of my head is the Fantasia one, which is probably because that's my favorite Mickey.
Yeah.
But I remember going and getting all of them.
See, and I remember my mom spending 5 minutes at the drive-thru trying to figure out if they found all the boxes for all of the different types so they knew to get the ones that we didn't have already.
But those plates, me and my stepsister, we would fight over them.
See,
like we both had our own. And I had the pink one, and one day she was using my pink one instead of her blue one.
Notice,
and there was problems.
It's like Gatorade and Kool-Aid. Like it's not by the princess, it's by the color. Like, do you remember what princess was on it or what?
I think they were all the Hercules ones.
Was it the Hercules ones?
And I think mine was Meg though.
Oh,
whereas
Meg.
hers was Hercules and Pegasus.
I thought Hades would have been on the blue one.
It was the light blue. Like
it
was like the clouds,
the aquas and the teals.
It was like the clouds, like of Mount Olympus.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
how do you remember that much?
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, those plates were serious.
See, the cups that I remember also were Shrek cups, but that's the other side. We'll avoid that side of things. But speaking of giveaways and everything, we do have the Facebook group.
Yeah. If you join us on Disney Castle Chasers is our Facebook group. It's where all of our discussions happen. We're going to give away some sticker packs on Saturday, so make sure you join us. Super easy to win.
Stickers?
Yeah, stickers.
This is why I didn't know about it.
Yeah, if I tell him, I wouldn't have any to give away.
Exactly. I love stickers. I collect stickers. Stickers are dope, like of all kinds. All kinds of stickers. But... moving right along, to go along with the childhood, like the cups and all of that, we would always watch our Disney movies. What was your Disney movie?
Lion King was probably my main one.
Yeah, definitely had to be Rafiki up in there. Toy Story when it came out. You had mentioned
Pixar.
Earlier. Yeah, Pixar. All the Pixar.
We were like the Pixar generation. Like, don't get me wrong. I know Pixar has a ton of new ones, but we were there when they first started out.
Yeah, when Toy Story was like the revolution of animation.
Yeah. The realism there, like...
Yeah.
And just the stories Pixar brings. Like,
see, but when they used Buzz's helmet with the sunlight and the light the way that it was, like the lens flare, the way that it happened, like they kind of were flexing on us.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen the pictures of the close-ups of...
Yes.
There's so much detail.
So much detail. In the cloth on Woody. Like all
you
of
can
that.
see the stitches in the cloth of... it's insane.
It is really intricate. That's what I remember about the movies. Being a part of that generation Pixar, honestly.
And I think it's weird because I think a lot of times when people think of like growing up with Disney, you think of the classics. But I didn't watch a lot of the classics. Like
I didn't even know Aurora.
Yeah.
I
honestly, I know I watched Snow White quite a bit. And I don't know why. I think it's just because we had that VHS.
I remember them making the pie. And then, like, I remember Family Guy spoofing it, and so now it kind of merges. Like, that's my memory of it. Like, I remember both of them at the same time.
I want to say I didn't really watch Beauty and the Beast until I got older.
Same.
Honestly, when they started doing, not the remakes, but the remasters.
Yeah.
And
where they just beefed it up.
And it was like, I remember
Lightroom.
my parents wanting to get them. So from there, that's whenever I would rewatch them. But it wasn't like a regular thing. It was more just, oh my gosh, it got released from the vault. It's been remastered. We have to get it. And I knew the story though, like of all of them.
I mean, yeah, like everybody knew the stories, but like to dig deeper into that and loving the classics, did you know the story of The Great Mouse Detective? Because a lot of people slept on it.
No.
That's the one that I go back with. Like me and my brother Martin, The Great Mouse Detective, had one of the best show tunes of all of Disney. I made you listen to it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, fellas.
We were trying to find like a good,
right.
I don't know what era What era is that?
Roaring 20s.
Roaring 20s.
We tried to look for a good Roaring 20s-esque like example of like a song, a track for our wedding coming up.
Yeah, and that's what he had me listen to.
Yeah, it's great. It's such a good track. It's like the track. And so that one was the one that was slept on, in my opinion, the absolute most. But it brings a lot of childhood memories because I remember a lot of the food and snacks that I ate when I was watching that. And Great Mouse Detect, all the little fake gun sounds and stuff. But also, I kind of want to know what people think of that on Instagram.
Yeah, tell us what your favorite childhood memory growing up, whether it's at the parks or just favorite movie. Let us know. We're going to put that question up on our Instagram stories.
Yes, it's at Castle Chasers, by the way. So, moving right along to these theme parks, part of the childhood was going to Disneyland. I didn't go to Disney World until I went with you. But even when we went to Disneyland when I was a kid, it was different. Like, it wasn't like the vacation. Like, we weren't amped for it like that.
See, and I was the opposite because I think that has to do with kind of where we grew up, though. You grew up in California, so...
Well, I mean, California, Arizona, yeah.
Yeah, but so... It wasn't a big trip to go to Disneyland. It was right there.
And it was still the happiest place on earth, but like it was never stressed like that on us.
Whereas for me, it was the vacation. Like we did it as almost a milestone thing. Like you hit the next big age, and we go to Disney World, and that's what we do.
Hey, you're turning 8 this year. What are you gonna do, bro? Duh, I'm coming to Disney. 8. Come on now. Like, is that the age?
No, it was like when you. I know 2. I remember that one specifically because it's at 3. For those of you that have kids, 3 is when you have to start paying for them. The last time I kind of remember going to Disney World was whenever my sister was turning 2. And whenever she was turning 2, we had gone... And I feel so bad. And I'm just going to come out and say, like, I'm sorry, Mom. Because I didn't realize how expensive everything was. So we went to Crystal Palace. If you guys don't know what Crystal Palace is, it's based off of the real Crystal Palace. So it's absolutely gorgeous. But they have the friendship breakfast with Pooh and friends every morning. And I don't know if you know Disney prices, but like...
It's different than a regular price. So like if you want popcorn, it's going to be a Disney popcorn. Disney popcorn is the price of a regular popcorn plus $2 and then plus another $3.
For the magic.
The little pixie dust at the end there. But no, that's Disney prices. That's what it is. And if anybody showed me what Disney prices are, it is this one here. Whew, but the thing is, you get the most bang for your buck when you plan out the way that you do.
Yeah. But at 12 years old.
At 12 years old, you don't plan. You don't know. You don't understand what's happening. You don't realize that your mom...
I thought we were at Golden Corral with Tigger. Like...
You thought you were at a place where you basically went to the Vegas buffet on the day that they had lobster boil, and you didn't get any lobster. You got chicken tenders.
Okay. That would make this situation good because that would mean I actually got like real food. Me, I'm not a big breakfast person.
She hates eggs. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
I didn't even get the Mickey waffles. I went and I got a plate, just a regular plate, and I filled it up with bacon. And that is all I got. So when I say my parents probably spent like $40 on a plate of bacon...
They spent $40 on a plate of bacon.
And but you know what? They got my picture with Tigger.
And that's the important part, is that you got a memory, a nice memory.
Well, the other thing about Disney World that kind of broke my heart, if you haven't gone in a while, it's a whole new experience every time. So, and I say this in the manner of like Disney's always changing and coming up and updating, and there's always new stuff going on. So, the thing I remember from my childhood was the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids area.
Yeah, because you always talked about it. That was like mainly what you talked about when we were prepping for Disney.
We asked for pictures from when we were a kid, and we're looking through them, and it's me and the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids area. All of them. Is my favorite area.
Every picture.
And so when we start planning, he's like, so what are you looking forward to? What? And I'm like, you have to see the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids area.
There's a giant cockroach. That's all I pictured.
There's big grass everywhere. It's amazing. And so I go to pull it up on Google. Closed in 2016.
It shattered her
I was
heart.
shattered.
She almost didn't go to Disney.
I was so upset. I was like, why? It closed in 2016 for Galaxy's Edge. But now that I look up and I follow Disney news, this isn't. They will eventually get rid of something else that I love, and I have come to accept it.
I mean,
up next is probably Muppet Vision. So
Muppet Vision is dope, though.
It is.
It shouldn't.
It's the only thing on Grand Avenue, though. That area, I'm sure, and there is no source on this, guy. So it's not like, oh, she's starting rumors. This is my best guess because we were there in holiday times. There was still no wait for Muppet Vision. That's not a good sign.
No, we watched Muppet Vision twice on our trip.
But it's okay. It's amazing. And it's
really good.
Very much of a childhood memory for me. So I was okay with it.
See, your childhood memories with theme parks, with the Disney parks, were way different than mine. I remember 3 things about Disneyland. Mind you, we went like 2 or 3 times. Number 1, Legoland. It was in downtown Disney at Disneyland, and it's only because I was obsessed with Legos.
You're still obsessed with Legos.
I really am. It's like a distant obsession though, because I don't play with them. I don't have a whole lot of Legos with me, but when I see Legos, it's going down. But I remember Legoland. I remember the Mark Twain boat. That's about it. I remember anything around it. None of it. I don't remember any of that. Just taking the Mark Twain boat. And the third thing was James and the Giant Peach. The ride.
Your mom sent me pictures of that one.
I was a pudgy,
I didn't even know it was the thing.
I was such a pudgy little kid. Oh my God. And so I remember flying. I was so excited. And then I got up there and it was really scary.
So all I saw was a picture of you getting on the ride. What was the ride?
So it's basically like one of those chain rides where it's like a chain swing and it's just a bunch of people and they spin around.
And it's just James and the Giant Peach themed.
Yeah. We were like the bees that were flying. I think it was the bees that were flying around the Peach at one point. I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't remember very much about it. And so I feel like I'd robbed myself of those childhood memories from the theme parks. But then you took me. But that's another story for a whole nother time. Because we will be talking about our first Disney trip coming up here pretty soon.
Yes. In fact, we are actually going to do a whole YouTube video on it that will be out this Wednesday. So make sure you tune into that. Okay. Make sure to hit subscribe.
Nice. Our first Disney trip slapped. That's all I'm going to say about it right now. We'll talk about it later. But the overall culture of Disney, like you into the Disney culture, is that more of what it was? Like it's kind of how you made it seem. You're more into the culture of it than
and the culture was just kind of always there. Like it's like everywhere I looked, Disney was there, and it's not in a way of like it was being forced on me. So I did ballet, and my first recital was Bippity Boppity Boo.
I didn't even know you did ballet.
Yeah. So
so by the way, this podcast is also used to get to know each other.
I remember I had a pink tutu and a little princess hat.
Aww.
Not tiara, but like the pointy hat. Yeah.
I can't even anymore. I don't even know what that looks like.
You don't know the pointy hat with the little ribbon on it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I always thought that the pictures that I saw was a kid holding it, but apparently it was their head next to their hand, and like I didn't realize it was the hat.
No, that's a princess hat.
Oh. It kind of looks like our flag.
I remember my ballet teacher, she was telling us like, come on, like get off the stage. And I thought she meant wave. So I was just skipping and waving across the stage. But yeah.
How long were you waving?
I don't know. I was like 3 or 4, but I remember that because I remember my parents talking about it after.
Not only does she think that she's Cinderella, but she just took up the whole stage the whole time.
Well, to make it worse, like, I mean, in me thinking that I guess I'm just the spawn of Disney, is that to learn to spell my name, I used the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme song. MYSTEMOUSE. So I guess I thought my name was Misty Mouse.
I mean, that's cooler than mine. Mine, Usher, nice and slow. They call me MICHA. Yeah, it goes so on and so forth. So, sorry. That's mine. That's pretty cool. I mean, I was always more into Mickey Mouse, but like not enough to know the Mickey Mouse Club. Not enough to know the Mickey Mouse, the like Disney Channel stuff. I didn't know any of the Disney Channel stuff.
You didn't watch any Disney Channel.
I
grew up watching
did.
it.
I watched Recess.
See, I watched, and even when I was too old for Disney Junior, I still watched Disney Junior because I was 10 years apart from my sister. So
is that what it's called? Is Disney Junior? I thought it was Nick Junior.
It maybe is
Nickelodeon's thing. Was it
You're
Disney?
Probably right.
What was Disney's? I thought it was just like Radio Disney and then Disney Channel.
I loved it. Radio
Originals.
Disney. No, there is a kids Disney, and so. Growing up, I watched Stanley, which probably nobody knows, but it was like about this little kid who would go on adventures, but in a book. I think
the Page Master?
No, he actually ended up going onto a computer after a while, but he would learn about animals.
Oh.
And so I loved watching that, but I loved watching Disney Channel original movies, which... I know you didn't watch because when Disney Plus came out, I was so excited.
And she was obsessed.
I was like, we're going to watch Xenon. And then I put it on and he's like, what
is this? What are you watching?
And I'm like, I know it's really bad, but this was everything.
This was literally everything when I was a child.
So you didn't watch like Even Stevens?
No, I wasn't into Shia LaBeouf that young. Holes was my introduction to Shia.
It's Disney.
That was a really good one.
I watched the book. I read the book.
I watched the book and read the move.
Yeah.
Read the moves. Now Holes. Ooh. Going back to movies.
I watched that the other day.
Holes slaps. That dig it up. That song. Oh,
I
my
have
gosh.
some beefs with it because my nerd's going to come out.
Oh, God.
The movie isn't as good as the book.
The book is really, really good. And that's one thing Martha, our friend Martha, would be proud of me. I do love Holes, the book, way better than I liked the movie. There was a lot more intense detail in the book.
And I think there's so much there, they couldn't include it all.
Yeah.
But my gosh, if you haven't read the book, it's so good.
I imagine more forest with the throwback scenes.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I could see that.
And then it turned into like a modern day desert. Like that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, like it was
like an oasis.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they made it seem like it was very much not.
Yeah,
way.
It was just it hadn't rained. It was a lake.
Right.
But
oh well. That was weird. No, but like I said, there's not a whole lot else that I really watched that was Disney Channel at all, besides Recess. Besides even then, like with some of the original movies that you talked about, I'd never heard of these.
Yeah,
the
you
Halloween
did Luck
ones.
of the Irish. Halloween Town?
Luck of the Irish, I met the dude.
Oh, and I made him watch Tower of Terror. Because
Yeah.
I was like, no, if we're going to go ride Tower of Terror, you need to watch this. Yeah, he didn't care.
I didn't. I mean, maybe I grew past the point where I would appreciate it properly. You know?
I don't know. I still love that movie.
I mean, that's what I mean because you watched it as a little kid, but
So
like
I can
me, I missed
appreciate
the
it
threshold. Yeah, I missed that threshold, and so there's a couple of things, different movies that are like that for me too. To be completely honest, which one was it? Rookie of the Year.
I haven't watched it.
It was on Disney Plus.
I know.
See,
Sports.
what was wrong with sports? Disney had some good sports movies.
Yeah, Luck of the Irish.
See, and I met the dude when I was in radio, and I didn't know who he was at all.
Kyle? Well, I don't know his real name.
The real guy? I don't know. My co-host and everybody was excited, but I had
Smart
no idea.
House? I made you watch that one. Did you like it?
I knew what Smart House was, and I thought it was pretty funny and
I just want to know why my house doesn't do that yet.
I mean,
we kind of
Alexa's sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, it's not even close.
I know. Alexa, I wasn't even talking to you.
I want a strawberry smoothie.
Alexa's
That's what Angie asked for when she walked in.
Alexa's would you like to order it on Grubhub? She's on her way.
Just getting there.
She is.
I'm just saying we should have a smart house by now.
Yeah, we probably should. But see, and it's weird to think about the differences that we had, but the connection that we had for Disney. I don't even remember where our connection for Disney really started.
It's kind of weird because I don't think it was a Disney connection. Our connection started with Marvin Martian.
Yeah, because I didn't believe that it was your favorite cartoon character.
Yeah, because I worked at GameStop and I collect Pops, and the Space Jam Pops had just come out, and I grabbed Marvin Martian, and I was like, sorry, this is my favorite character. I need to run it back there. And he was like, oh, wait, hold on.
That can't be your favorite character. That's nobody's favorite character.
No one cares about Marvin Martian.
Nobody cares about Marvin. In the same way, nobody cares about the Great Mouse Detective. Still upset about that, by the way.
But it's
Sorry, I'm just saying.
You know, it's weird though that some of these characters that aren't Disney, although they're great, it didn't make the same impact.
It didn't, because when we found out that The Emperor's New Groove was the movie, and then when we found out that we could recite Remember the Titans, like a lot of the same lines and a lot of that, like I watched that growing up like crazy. See, you watched a sports thing growing up.
Oh yeah,
major.
Our mascot was the Titans, and I went to a football school.
And so like that was
we
a big
watched
one.
that movie every time it was movie day.
It took us like a year into dating for us to actually find out that Remember the Titans was that big for us too. Like it wasn't immediate. And so that's interesting to note, because I don't remember what else drew us towards Disney besides the fact that you just started watching Disney movies at night.
Well, that, and I noticed like on your arm you have a Mickey tattoo, and so we started talking about the symbol of Mickey.
Yeah, because that's more of my thing.
Because we would go shopping and you would gravitate towards like the Mickey clothes and Mickey merchandise.
Everything Mickey was like a big thing for me, and it was just like Neff Mickey shirts and stuff like that. And when we did go to Disney, it would be like the Mickey pins. I was really big in it because you got me into pins, which by the way, Pin Fridays are pretty dope on Instagram. Going to be diving into one of my new obsessions. I'm not too deep into the pin trading thing, but we will be doing the Pin Fridays to help me get deeper into that. If you're not into it yet, kind of check that out. But Mickey, I would stop at a pin spot and just look at all the Mickey pins. I would look at all of the Mickey jackets. I would look at all of just Mickey, like the image, but it was like Disney Channel stuff for me. I didn't really watch it. I didn't really remember Mickey Mouse Club and stuff like that.
You know, I only really remember for Mickey wise was I almost said James and the Giant Peach, not Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah, Jack and the Beanstalk.
I remember watching that.
I didn't.
Mickey was but the thing is, if you start thinking about the symbol and how ingrained it is something that you just kind of appreciate, and it's easy to grasp onto. I mean, over $4 billion of Disney World's income comes just from the Mickey symbol.
Really?
Yeah.
So like on merch?
On merch, anywhere that they can put the Mickey head,
like the solar panels.
Yeah.
Woo.
So over $4 billion just in that.
That's insane.
The only thing, weirdly enough, that makes more is Winnie the Pooh. Would you have guessed that?
That's weird. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have even thought about it. And now I think about it, they're homies.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, Pooh isn't that big, but that's one of those like growing up. You know Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. You even know the song, and like you didn't even mess with it that much. Like I didn't. It's another one, like Winnie the Pooh, Mickey Mouse.
See, that one was on Disney Channel growing up for me. So I watched it there.
Right.
And so I did watch.
My cousins did, and my younger cousins at the time. Well, I mean, they're still younger, but they would watch it, and I remember gravitating towards that specifically to see that. But Mickey, along with a whole lot of other symbols, were like a huge deal for me. And so I wanted to bring this up. I had to bring this up because when we went to the Mickey Mouse exhibition, the
true 90th, original.
The true original 90th anniversary, we got these as a pair for the tour that we did, right? Mm-hmm. And then we got the pins on there with it too. It was really dope. And so like still resonating with me is the Mickey symbol. And like I never wear these, but it was so dope going to the Mickey Museum, which was super insane when you surprised me with this thing.
Oh my gosh, you guys don't know what I had to do. So we saw this at the 90th anniversary of Mickey. It's a pop-up museum they were doing
in New York.
And he saw it and he was like, I want it. And I was like, we can buy it when we get home. Joke's on us. No, you can't.
Right. And
it's crazy. I was trying to find personal shoppers that would go buy it for me and send it. And finally I had messaged a girl that we met. It's not just a girl.
Shout her out. Maria. What's up? My gosh, like one of the coolest people we've ever met in New York ever. And like, she came in clutch. And
yeah, she went, she was like, that's not far from where I work. I will run and get it for you.
Yeah, big shout outs to Maria there, because she kind of made everything happen as far as getting me those
oh
Mickey
my gosh.
ears. But yeah, incorporating a little bit of Disney into every trip was cool, especially in this specific mode because of everything that was available at this. It was not Disney, but it was all Disney.
It was super modern.
Yeah, like all the art was very contemporary.
So it was all Mickey themed because it was Mickey's birthday, basically.
Right, the 90th.
And they celebrated all the different eras.
All of them.
So they had they had a Fantasia area where you could wear the hat and take a picture in it.
Giant hat.
You could sit against this wall and touch the mop. Like it looked like you were touching the mop. What other areas did they have?
They had Steamboat Willie's boat.
Yeah.
They had the boat and the Hidden Mickeys all throughout the entire museum.
Oh my gosh. I was on a mission to find all the Hidden Mickeys.
She makes everything a competition, and so she made that a competition.
Yeah, I had to find them all.
She had to find them before I did. They had the Mickey Mouse Club set.
Yes, and then they had the ice cream.
The ice cream, the Ample Hills Creamery.
Yeah.
Oh, look, yeah. Because I had to keep the little container. This one was actually from Ample Hills. We found it in New York whenever we went. That was like 2 or 3 nights later that we went to that one.
Yes, it was. And then we saw them and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the ice cream we had because the ice cream there was so good.
Yeah, because we had a couple of the friends that were in New York with us. They didn't go to the Mickey Museum with us, but we went to the ice cream place with them.
Yes, and so we were like, oh my gosh, we have to get those.
Yeah, it was so good. And like it's like a kind of like a collector's item, the container that it came in. They had other containers, but I only got the one because I'm lame.
But definitely think of those like off the wall museums you see like people share articles of, and that's kind of what this was.
This was not anything like an art exhibit that I had been to before.
This isn't something you take your kids to.
Right, and it was.
I mean, they might appreciate it, but
they would still think it was weird. Like there was one area where it was just a bunch of like it was the blacklight room.
Yeah, it was right out by the merchant. It was this blacklight room that had like strings, and it was all like neon color and like random merch everywhere.
It was so much. It was just like chaos, but it definitely looked cool, and there were hidden Mickeys all over the place.
Oh yeah, everywhere. Like one, you took a picture inside this like tire, but when you looked at it, it had a Mickey.
Yeah, and that was the only way you could see it. Like from other angles, it didn't make a Mickey head.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. I liked that museum.
That was a cool museum, and we also went to the Disney store in Times Square.
Oh my gosh, they had such good deals.
They did.
I got that.
I bought so many mugs.
I got a shoot.
I bought this one. I love mugs.
How many mugs did you leave with that day? Because they were all on clearance.
Yeah.
They were all on clearance during the holidays.
I just remember you having to pack them all.
I remember that too, babe.
We almost had to leave some of my mugs at the hotel.
We came really close to leaving some mugs, and then I had some of the. It was a couple of like plush, like Disney plush.
They all made it back.
Everything.
All of it, and unbroken.
Except for the pop action figure boxes. They didn't make it back.
They made it back, just not as collectibles anymore.
I got those from the 90th anniversary thing, only to find out that I could buy them later on at random stores.
But they did have exclusive ones. We weren't there for that. Yeah, you had to get there like super early.
Every day that we were in New York, like they had a new like batch of them release, and we didn't ever go to the museum.
We would have had to be there, like lined up
at 5 a.m.
Yeah,
maybe latest.
We're not doing that.
We've done worse. We'll talk more about that.
Well, yeah.
Definitely have to talk more about that because we've got our like other Disney trips to talk about because the way you get on our Disney trips and the way that you get in planning our Disney trips. More about that later though, because going through last time when we went to Disney World, there were some things that I would have changed, and we kind of got to talk about that next time.
Yeah, we're gonna do a full YouTube video.
Oh, beautiful!
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So we'll talk about that on Wednesday.
Reimagining Disney in a good way, though. In a good way. The thing is, our mutual love came mostly when we found out that Disney Plus was gonna have all the classics that neither of us knew we messed with. Neither of us knew that we were into.
Yeah, it kind of started because, I mean, Disney Plus kind of brought it all together. But I remember when Netflix kind of sprinkled some on, like Moana.
Oh, they did good.
Oh, my gosh. Coco, and they have Moana. Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, Ralph Breaks the Internet has to be the best Disney sequel. And
so we were watching those, and it was like, and it was one of those, like, I almost felt bad. I was like, I'm sorry, we're watching. And he's like, what other Disney movies do they have on here right now?
Right. And then they had a whole section.
Disney Plus came.
We pre-ordered Disney. How long was that?
Oh, the day it came out, I had a countdown timer. I was ready.
I thought we pre-ordered it.
We did.
Yeah, but how long in advance did we pre-order?
I don't know. I know the day that you could sign up for it, I was on it. Yeah,
I remember that.
So, but once it did come on, it was like, oh my gosh.
What do we do?
How do you watch? Start here?
How do you watch all this?
And it slowly became more and more movies we started connecting on. And, you know, you introduced me to Coco. I hadn't seen Coco. I introduced you to Flynn Rider.
I look back at the picture with me and Flynn Rider, me trying to learn the smolder.
Flynn Rider taught him the smolder.
I did not do the smolder very well with Flynn Rider there, but I feel that I've improved. I feel that his training has really rubbed off on me. That's how immersed I get into it whenever we're there. And that's the cool thing about going to Disney for the first time as an adult. She went to Disneyland. You didn't go as a kid.
I didn't go to
So you went your first time as an adult with me, and then I went my first time to Disney World with you.
Yes.
And so which one did you like better?
I'm going to say World, but I haven't been to California Adventure yet.
The California Adventure is really cool.
They have Pixar Pier and Cars Land.
But it is not the size of San Francisco.
That's the thing you have to remember. I had to get around it. I was like, do you realize how big Disney World is?
And I said, no, how big is this? She said, it's the size of the metropolitan area of San Francisco. She had not been to San Francisco. Wait, we went one time.
Yeah, we did.
And we went up into the Twin Peaks, and you saw how big it was. I had never realized that's how big Disney World is overall, everything. And when you go,
you're like, oh yeah,
this sure is San Francisco.
Now,
isn't it?
Disneyland for me, it was great. It was fun.
Yeah.
I personally on that trip liked Universal better.
She's trying really hard not to offend.
I feel really bad, and I know there's gonna be some people are gonna be like, yeah, obviously, it is not for the reasons you think, because if you're comparing Universal Florida to Universal Hollywood, they're two different things. I love the immersion. I love feeling like
Simpsons World.
Yes, Simpsons World, and granted, they have all of this at the one in Florida, but I feel like because the Florida one is bigger, I don't feel immersed in it. Whereas,
except the SpongeBob spot.
The SpongeBob's, yeah, we went in Gary's house and had a party.
Gary's house. That was, what was it? See, we don't just talk about Disney all the time, but yeah, I see what you mean as far as. But the donuts still slapped.
The donuts were amazing
in Springfield.
Yes,
both of them. They taste exactly the same. Which is wonderful. It's almost like they were made in a
factory.
The
donut's huge, and you look at it and you're like, I'm not gonna be able to eat all this.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And then you take a bite and you're like, yes, I am.
Yep, I sure will. And it's strawberry deliciousness all the way down. But your first time to Disneyland, we got to do something that I didn't even get to do as a little kid.
We got to pilot the Mark Twain riverboat.
We still have our certificates. I didn't know they give you certificates.
Yeah, they give you pilot certificates. For those of you that have not heard of this, one, I'm just going to preference this by saying, if you don't know what pixie dust is basically the magic Disney sprinkles. Cast members may pick you to do certain things, and it's called pixie dust. I'm going to tell you about this, and please don't ruin pixie dust. Some people, from what I've read in blogs and stuff, have gotten to the point where they now go ask, and a cast member doesn't want to say no, so there can be lines, and I think that takes away from the excitement.
It definitely does, because she was talking about what that was. Because remember, one of my 3 things that I remember from Disney as a kid was the Mark Twain boat, but I didn't remember anything about it. I didn't know that they picked somebody, and it was just one person.
One person per trip, and they pick you, and you get to go up in what is it called?
Was it the poop deck?
Did they call it the poop deck?
The poop deck? I think they called it the poop deck.
If I could remember what, the wheelhouse.
The wheelhouse.
And you actually get to... drive the riverboat. It doesn't actually do anything. Trust me. I like tried to jerk it and it doesn't jerk.
She really was trying to crash the riverboat.
I was like, is it going to do it?
She's like, I'm going to be the first one to crack it. And just
the cool part about it is up there is actually where Walt Disney himself used to go up and ride the ride. So, I mean, it is like literally a piece of history.
It is cool.
We got some cool pictures up there. I mean, and
we got to sign the book.
That was like my first experience with pixie dust.
Yeah, and I didn't know what you meant by it when you were talking about it because we weren't immersed into Disney at that point. We were just using it as part of the trip. It
truly makes it just something special and magical and so much fun. And I think that was my first little bit of like, I want more.
Yeah,
like,
and that
what else can I get?
That type of thing shows you that the possibilities are endless with it because we were talking about it and joked about it when we left the hotel. We're like, all right, so remember, we got to get as close as we can to the...
And we had completely forgot about it because remember, we had made a last-minute dining reservation and it wasn't for like another 30 minutes or so, and it happened to be across from the riverboat.
It was that...
And we're like, let's go kill some time. Let's go on it. And neither of us at this point had even thought about it anymore.
No, yeah, we were completely, because thinking back, the food was like comfort, like American country style comfort food.
Yeah.
I just don't remember what place it was.
I don't either, but that's before we did a lot of Disney dining. We'll talk about Disney dining.
Yeah, and we'll have to revisit that because that place
that's
was
a whole
pretty
nother
good.
topic.
That place was pretty good. But so yeah, then the first adult time at Disney just panned out to make you like a kid again, and that's when you dove into everything. But the difference is now you have a lot of tips that you can share with first timers, and you've been nice enough to share some of that on the blog.
Yeah, so this Thursday I'm going to put out a blog about just some of my top tips for Disney first timers. Now, full disclosure, I could write a novel. But I'm going to do my top 5 favorite tips.
So just to put it into perspective, when I say planning like her, there were Disney vets, like 10-year vets that go all the time. They were DVC members. DVC members that said, how did you get to ride 12 to 14 rides per day and this per park?
For anybody that has been to Disney over Christmas, this is the week between Christmas. In fact, the person who told us that it was on Christmas Day.
It was on Christmas Day. And we still got to ride 12 to 14 rides a day.
I mean, we did Flight of Passage 3 times?
3 times on our Disney trip, and it's almost impossible to get on there once during your Disney trip. So when we say check the blog, first timers, that's some valuable content right there. Especially, for Disney World. Disneyland, there's a few little bits of information that you'll want, like especially for the kiddos, but she'll go over all of that. My big thing was Disney World for the first time, and that was because we went for how long?
We were gone 15 days, but 15. I think 14 days were at Disney.
14 days and 13 nights were at Disney.
Yeah.
And so there was so much about that trip that made me basically say, yep, I was already obsessed with the Mickey Mouse thing. I was already obsessed with, all of my childhood being Disney everything. And like when I say everything, it was Disney here and there and everywhere. Disney World really showed me that I was just going to be a kid for the rest of my life. Like, bottom line, like going to Disney World and going to Disneyland and being immersed into some of the worlds that they had, like even Toontown and all of that was cool. But going to Disney World and seeing Epcot and seeing Animal Kingdom and Flight of Passage, oh my gosh, we'll talk about Flight of Passage later on as well. But bottom line, I've never had that many different types of fun, that many different types of food, that many different types of soreness in my life ever. Like, I didn't realize that I had that many muscles near my calves, and all of them were sore, but it was all worth it. And the coolest thing about going to Disney World was probably hearing about drinking around the world so many times and then finally getting to do it and eating a little bit along the way was miserable. But we will be taking the time out to talk about that on TikTok. We're going to be ranking the countries.
Yeah, we're going to rank. So we're going to have you guys rank them, but we're going to rank ours too. Because I think ours Ours are a little bit different than most people, but we're going to do all of them on TikTok all month. We're going to start with our least favorite and work up to the best. Mm-hmm. So definitely join us on TikTok so you can see what our favorite countries are.
Yeah, definitely need to, because we're going to dive into a lot more Disney World, a lot more Disneyland, Adventures by Disney. What is that? We'll be covering a lot of that. I know.
Even my biggest Disney fans, I'd tell them, oh yeah, Adventures by Disney. I told your parents the other day, and they're like, what's that? I promise you guys, it's not all Mickey ears.
It's not all Mickey ears. Even despite, having the Mickey ears.
It's fun. It's part of the fun. But I mean, even Disney World, like if we think of Animal Kingdom, I mean, to me, it's not Mickey ears. There are areas that are, but there's so much culture.
Pandora. You've got...
Well, Pandora is not necessarily culture, but when you talk about Africa and Asia... like the environments, and then Pandora itself is just...
Oh, definitely.
And then Epcot. I mean, you have Future World in the front. Then, the countries.
Yeah, it's all amazing. And so this is just kind of a little sneak peek of what all we'll be covering. Because, again, this being Castle Chasers, that's what we're doing. We're chasing every castle that we possibly can, trying to dive into everything that is Disney. Not just the cheesy, a lot of that cool stuff that you don't know about. And so... next time on the podcast, we will be covering a lot of the reimagining.
Yeah, we're going to talk about, what would we like to see done by Disney?
Yeah, just
different areas, different parks.
Overlays.
Lots of overlays we've talked about. Maybe some different movies. There's some things that happen in movies that I really wish would have
done differently. Yeah, there's quite a few. We'll cover some on the Emperor's New Groove. There's a couple of those that we'll have to get into. But make sure you join our Facebook group as well. Follow the magic, if you will, at Disney Castle Chasers on Facebook, and keep up with all of the contests that we'll have going up there and all the exclusive content you can find there. Until next time, though, I'm Mike.
I'm Misty.
And we're the Castle Chasers. See you soon.